Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. So, yeah, Lynn, should we get the show started?
We should indeed. I'm just going to share. It's nice to meet everybody. Okay, and turn my volume on.
Share sound.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just put it into slideshow, and then we can get rocking and rolling.
I usually say that. I love that.
Rajiv, I'm going to have to make you co-host, I'm afraid, because somebody just entered the meeting room and I couldn't let them in while I was sharing.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. So I'll go back to the meeting. I apologize, everybody. I just couldn't let people in while we were.
Yeah, there were like 3 people in the waiting room.
Yeah, and I couldn't let them in. Sorry.
That's okay. I got it. We're going to tag team this.
Okay. And why is it not happening? Okay, so apologies for this. Right. And here we go again. So we'd like to introduce ourselves and thank you for joining the webinar. My name is Lynn Donaldson and I am the CEO of Connect A Strategic Solutions Group. We provide product launch for services consulting for the pharmaceutical and medical devices industry. And I've been doing that as my own company over 10 years. And one of the things we decided to do was, as we were consulting to the industry, we found that a lot of industry people were using unwieldy Excel sheets or Microsoft Project, which was really hard to use. And so I approached Rajiv, my good friend Rajiv, who will introduce himself in a minute, about developing a software, because Rajiv's got the expertise in software and marketing software. So we thought it was a really great collaboration, and we're going to use that tool live today with Tony, who has volunteered to be on the show and be coached live. So thank you, Tony. Rajiv, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. For those that I don't know, great to meet you. Let's definitely connect on LinkedIn and have a one-on-one to get better acquainted. What I do, so my background is largely in brand consumer interaction and engagement with a focus on customer acquisition. And I did this for many years on the agency side, both on the agency side and the client side. I worked with large global agencies like Saatchi & Saatchi, Leo Burnett, JWT, Mindshare, Havas, and the list goes on. And then on the client side with Citi, Unilever, and the Times Group. And when Lynn approached me to say, hey, there's this, marketers are struggling all over the world. I said, really? Okay, I already knew that, but so what? And she said, well, I have a plan. I said, oh, really? Let's hear it. And then one thing led to another, and here we are. So we're hoping that since Lylli LaunchTools has just been launched, part of our initiative is to add value to our community. And we're thinking that helping you all out with your strategy development or with enhancing your existing strategy, since the tool, as you'll see, provides the infrastructure for that, would be a great way for getting our name out there while also adding value to you, your goals and your objectives. So without further ado, I guess let's play another very brief video to give you a quick overview.
Hi, I'm Lynn Donaldson, CEO of Connect A Strategic Solutions Group. We are product launch enablers for the pharma and medical devices companies and have been for the last 10 years. We partner with life science launch teams to go to market more effectively, driven by our 3 framework pillars of people, product, and process. Working with clients including Fortune 500 companies, we noticed them struggling with unwieldy Excel sheets to capture their launch strategy and detailed implementation plans, which needed to be translated for leadership. This is time-consuming, resulting in launches going over budget by thousands of dollars. A solution was needed. My good friend Rajiv was the perfect strategic partner, given his e-commerce product development background, and together we created Lylli LaunchTools. Rather than losing hours each week because your Excel sheets or software is failing you, use Lylli LaunchTools, which is easy to use in order to effect highly successful pharma and devices launches.
Welcome to Lylli LaunchTools, the first strategic pharma product launch planning software of its kind, designed to completely uncomplicate the process of developing and capturing your launch plan. Lylli LaunchTools is built for global corporations, large or small, and allows for seamless collaboration across functional teams and time zones. With real-time reporting and metrics tracking available on a user-friendly dashboard, your launch teams and stakeholders will have all the information they need to manage their launch activity.
Could you use an expert set of hands to guide you because your product launch is too important to fail? Lylli LaunchTools helps save time, ultimately saving you thousands of dollars. I'm Lynn Donaldson, CEO of Connect Strategic Solutions Group. We know how critical the success of your product launch is to you, your team, your company, and to your patients.
And that video.
Hi, I'm Lynn Donaldson, CEO of Connect.
That video actually enabled us to be positioned one of 8 that innovate in a recent industry competition. So thank you for watching. One of the things we're going to talk about is product launch failures. Now, a lot of products in the pharmaceutical industry are successful, but there are also some failures. Then we're going to look at why that happens.
Lynn, could you put it in slideshow mode? Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it causes a trouble with some of the other things, but okay. So then we're going to look at the right strategic planning. I'm going to take you through the process because people bandy around the word strategy or strategic, but what does it actually mean when you're developing a strategy? We're going to take you through the process of taking through a strategy, and then we'll show you how to use this when we get to Tony's live demo. We do have a couple of polls in there because often people think that they should have multiple goals, but we'll get to that in a minute. So one of the things we're going to do with this is talk you through strategy and then give you a live demo so that you can see it in real time to see how it can be used, how the tool can be used, and how we can help people like Tony and to work through their strategy and strategic thinking. So let's get started with launch failures. Did you know that 20% or 1 out of 5 new medical devices and 67%, that's 2/3 of new drugs fail to hit their sales targets at launch? Now that's a big risk for the industry because at the end of the day, it's a miss for patients who need those products. And so why is that though? And it's often because they haven't done the right strategic planning. This is what I meant with strategy. Strategy is bandied around and strategic planning is bandied around. But there is a specific format for strategic planning. You develop the goals and the objectives, and that's really what do you want to do. Then you look at the strategy, tactics, and key activities, and that's the how. Often people jump straight into the key activities without looking at the actual goals and working their way through. And this is what we're going to do with you today and what we've done with Tony. We're going to take each section one by one and give you the definition and then an example, and then we'll pull it all together. So a goal is, what are you trying to achieve? What is the big picture? What is the desired outcome? So an example might be for pharmaceutical, We want to get stakeholders to believe in the benefit of the specific drug blockade, which is a mechanism of action, a specific mechanism of action. We will also show you some general sort of definitions as well, or examples, should I say. How does that differ then? An objective is then, remember, this is still the how, the goal and the objective is still the how. The objective is what needs to happen in order to achieve that goal. It needs to be specific, measurable, and actionable. So in this case, we want to build a recognition of the specific mechanism of action in the specific disease area. Then we get down to the strategy. The strategy is what methods or approaches are we going to deploy, and what capabilities do we need to have in order to achieve that objective? So for example, here, we'd really need to strengthen the scientific story for the role in the specific therapeutic area. The reason being, it's okay telling people that there is a different mechanism of action, but you really need to strengthen that story and say why that's important. So it's the why, the how are we going to do this? Then taking it down to a tactic, we've got specific activities that we need to implement to achieve the objective. And this is where we start getting into the weeds. How are we going to do what to achieve our goal, objective, and then our strategy? This brings in, we would then work on the scientific story. What is the scientific story around a particular mechanism of action? The key activity is then really down in the weeds. And this is what no other software does. It doesn't go right down into the weeds. It either sits at one end, it's either very tactical or it's very strategic, but it doesn't take you all the way down. But a key activity is the specific activity detailed in order to implement the strategy and the objective and tactic. It really needs to add value. So, for example, in a scientific forum, we might run a scientific advisory board. Now, we need to make sure that whatever we do as an activity ladders all the way back up to a goal. So here I've put down a pharmaceutical example. If you're going to do any activity, it's got to relate to the tactic above, relate to the strategy, relate to the objective, and relate to the overall goal. So this is just a summary of what we've gone through one by one. So the goal, what are you trying to achieve? The objective, what are you trying to do in terms of achieving that goal? Specific, measurable, actionable. The strategy, what are your methods and approach? Then the tactics, it starts getting down to key activities, specific activities. And then the key activities really are down in the weeds. What is it that you're actually going to do? And when you see Tony's example, you'll see where we've actually drilled right the way down. This is a more general example. So we've used Lylli LaunchTools as an example. So our goal, what are we trying to achieve, is to get Lylli LaunchTools to market successfully. Our objective is to engage with 5 companies to trial Lylli LaunchTools by the end of 2022. Our strategy means we need to target 5 specific companies within the criteria we've already set. And then the tactics, we've been entering pitch competitions to gain visibility. As I said, we entered DA4S, we came to 8 that innovate, and then we entered WeBank, which is Women Business Enterprise Council, and we got to 4. So from 8 to 4, we're going closer. And the key activity was the specific pitch that we actually entered. So I don't know whether you've got any questions at the moment or whether you just want us to continue. Any questions at the moment?
Yes.
Sure.
It's interesting that you focused here on one tactic and one key activity. I mean, focus is great, but in starting a business, there's so much going on. And then the flip side of it is we have so many tactics and so many activities. And everything is prioritized as a top level priority that we end up floundering a bit.
And that's a really great question or observation, because when we went through it with Tony, we actually helped pull that into alignment so that you can see what are the key objectives, key strategies. And we'll show you the next slide, which Rajiv will talk to, is about how it looks in the tool. What we do, we consult with you to pull out of your head the strategy and the tactics and the objectives in a format so that it's very clear. As you said, there's an awful lot of things that you need to do, and you could be going off in different directions. You know, oh, there's a squirrel kind of like over there and looking over there. What this does is it helps you pull everything out of your head. We do that, Rajiv and I pull that out of your head, and then we start putting into the tool, and it organizes it so that you can clearly see everything in order with timelines of when you need specifically to do it. Does that answer your question or your observation?
Yeah, thank you, Homi. And also just moving ahead very slightly. So not only does the tool help you to organize your thoughts in a cohesive, seamless, structured manner, but you're also able to monitor the execution of that strategy. Because as we all know, having a strategy, just a strategy, isn't going to help anyone. The strategy needs to be executed, and it needs to be executed, hopefully, in a timely manner. And that's what the tool enables for you to do. And as we'll show, momentarily, is the tool is an all-in-one tool, rather than jumping between Outlook and Slack and email and text and Microsoft Project and Excel and Google Sheets and text message and all that stuff. You can have everything in this one tool where you can message everyone within the tool. Everyone can collaborate within the tool. There's ways to specify as to who in your team can see what specific activity, so that when they log into the tool, their dashboard will be focused on activities that are related to them and only them. So there's no confusion in their mind as to what they need to do. Plus, they are then also held accountable to the roles and the tasks and the actions that they've been assigned. And you can monitor all of that as the admin when you're observing the timelines. So, and that's just in summary of what the tool does. And we'll be showing you a demo as well shortly after the live demo with Tony.
Great. I just have a quick question though. Is your business about providing sort of strategic consulting, or about selling a tool, or both?
Both.
Okay. And is this tool available only to your customers, or is it available more broadly?
Broadly.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll be, in fact, sharing the link for the website where you can learn more about the tool, as well as sign up for a free trial. Since we are early in our launch, we're offering a 30-day trial, which could be extended further to a 45-day, maybe even a 60-day trial. So, but we really want for people to start using the tool, give us feedback, because we are already working on version 2. And, we're kind of using this as our engagement with our community to almost make this a bespoke experience for not just us, but for you, because I'm sure that you will benefit and your business will grow by, using something super helpful like this. And that's our intent. Okay, so as far as what you're seeing on the screen is, you'll notice that there's goal. The goal here is launch Lylli to market successfully. The objective is get 5 pharma companies. Strategy is we need to target these 5 companies by the end of the year. Tactic is enter pitch competitions. And the key activity is enter the DA4S, which is Diversity Alliance for Science. It's a conference, a national conference for pharma and life sciences. So as you can see, all of these goals are related to each other. And the key activity of enter DA4S ladders up to the tactic above it, which ladders up to the strategy above it, which ladders up to the objective, and ultimately the goal, which was launch Lylli to the market successfully. So that's how it kind of looks when you enter it in the tool, and you'll see that momentarily. So this is what it looks like in real time. As you can see, we're looking at it. What you saw was an excerpt or a zoomed in version of what one goal and how one goal drills down to the strategy below it, the objective, the key activity, the tactic, etc. So what you're seeing is an overview of several goals. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yeah, time for a poll. And we're doing these polls to make sure you don't zone out or fall asleep on us.
Okay.
We want to make sure that you're highly actively engaged with us at all times.
Poll number 1. I'm going to share it now. The question is, how many goals should you usually have? Is it 3? Is it 5? Is it 6? Is it 8? Or is it 10? Please vote now. Okay. Give people a few more minutes. Okay. A few more minutes and then we'll share the results. So 6 people out of 10 said that it should be 3 goals. 2 people said 5 and 2 people said 10. Oh, I should have shared them earlier. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. 1 second.
Wouldn't that question, I mean, it might have an absolute answer irrespective of company size, but I assume that larger companies with larger teams may have more goals than smaller companies.
Well, don't assume that, because I assume that depending on the number of projects you have going on, you're going to have more goals. Book writing, marketing, advertising, selling, all those activities should have a goal associated with them, right?
Right, but those are activities, right? You have a core message, and
Right, but you
that's
need
your
to have a
primary
goal.
goal, right? How are we going to get that out? Then you tier down. Then you have those components that you just said: the marketing, the book, the this, the that. But who are you? Like, what's your purpose for existing? That's your goal is, the thought leadership or the visibility and getting the eyes on you. Like that, to me, would be a primary goal. Like 3 is a lot to me.
Oh, absolutely correct. Now 5 to 6 is maximum, because if you have too many goals, remember this is big picture. If you have too many goals, as Homie said at the beginning, you might get distracted into too many different ways. Start small. Most pharmaceutical companies and medical devices companies and companies we work with have 5 maximum goals. Remember, that's the big picture. And I couldn't see exactly who was talking, but you're right. Then you'd start drilling down. So how often will your goals change? Again, we're just going to do a poll.
One more poll.
Another poll, sorry. And
You want us to be interactive, you see.
we want to hear from you. Can you see my screen? Can you see the poll?
Yeah, I can see the poll.
Okay, cool. How often will your goals change in a pre-launch phase? Now, this is specific to the industry, but it will also be important how often you would change your goals. Say once a year, every planning cycle, which may again be once a year or every 6 months. Okay.
But this is
and 5 out of 10 said every planning cycle, and I would totally agree with that, because it's the presentation, and I'm sorry I have to shift out of the screen and come back in again. It's just maybe it's a nuance of Mac, right? It depends, but you would generally look at your goals once a year, because there may have been a major incident. So for example, there may be new competitors in the area, there may have been an environmental effect like COVID, or there may be some governmental guidelines that will change your overall goals. And because remember, companies evolve throughout their years, and you may want to change your goal, only tweak it slightly, but you need to revisit them and you need to make sure that you check them out. Okay.
Quick question. Can you just speak a moment to what a goal is? Is it closer to like your vision, or is it like an objective, for a particular activity like Albert was referring to earlier? So I'm having a little bit of a difficulty pegging goal.
Right, okay. So we'll just go straight back to this, if that's okay. So a goal is your big picture. So for example, we want Lylli LaunchTools to get to the market successfully. That's one of our goals. Another one of my goals, or Rajiv's goals, would be to
World
get our-
domination.
Sorry?
World domination. Think big, Glenn. Come on.
One of the other goals might be that we consult, in my case, I consult with 10 other pharmaceutical companies to get the consulting arm of my company up and running. So that's a big goal.
Right. But the issue with the first goal is, what is successful? How do you define successfully?
And that's where you would, yes, you're right, you could possibly put some criteria around it. We would put criteria around it would be successfully to earn so much % revenue or something like that. But you're right. And then when you get down to the objectives, it's really to what happens in order to achieve that goal. And that's when you're starting to drill down, what do we need to do in order to achieve our revenue, whatever target is. And we would need to engage with at least 5 companies to trial Lylli LaunchTools by the end of 22.
So,
Thank you.
So Homi, just to kind of like answer your question, it's a very pertinent question. You know, what does success look like? And essentially, if you're defining success to be the achievement of something, so though that something is where it'll appear either in key activities or tactics, because all of these are then going to ladder up to some kind of output, which will help you with your overall goal attainment, which attaining the goal obviously equals success, right? And that's why you're making that a goal, right? Because that's the whole point of it. So all of these sub activities, or like, for example, using a marketing example, we want to do this. So we need to do an advertising campaign. We need to be on social. We need to be on search. We need to create content. We need to do an email campaign. We need to do drip marketing, you know, whatever those things are. All of those things are going to be in the key activities, all of which are measurable, of course. And that's the whole point of this tool, to allow you to kind of think through all of those tasks that you will be doing or your team will be doing, and then to monitor the execution of all those tasks to see if you're hitting them on a timely fashion. And that's exactly what our tool does. And like I said, after this, we'll be showing you excerpts from the live tool so that you can see, you know, the tool in action, and hopefully it'll clarify, you know, your question further.
Okay, Homi?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So Rajiv, over to you.
Okay, so yeah, so now we're doing the live demo. So Lynn, you're going to be sharing this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this, the test subject for the live demo is Tony Beer. Tony Beer is a relationship coach. He's a content creator, workshop leader, public speaker. He's the author of 9 ebooks. Wow, definitely keeps himself busy. And he is, the name of his company is Relationship Mastery Institute. His goal is to enhance people's relationships and to leave people better than he found it. And of course, you can learn more about Tony by visiting his website. We'll post the link in the chat. Tony, you can post the link in the chat too, relationshipmasteryinstitute.com. So it's a pretty easy to remember name. That's what his company does. And so I think now let's begin the live demo where we'll be, and this is a typical experience of what any of our clients would go through as we're working with them to get or glean the strategy, pull the strategy out of their head and on paper. So when you log into the tool for the first time, you'll be greeted by this screen, which tells you, Lynn, is it possible to zoom?
I can try. Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah. So when you log into the tool, This is what you'll see for the very first screen. These are 5 steps that need to be completed, after which you can then start using the tool. Step 1 is define your region. This is what you'll see on the left panel. After region is define your work stream. That's the link below region management. Then is defining roles, then users. This is basically where you're adding people to your team. You know, like I said, this is an all-in-one tool where you're adding your team members. It could be consultants, it could be contractors. It doesn't matter who they are. You can add them all here, and you're defining specific roles. So this way you're maintaining that a firewall, so to speak, where certain people can see only certain things. And this way you're insulating yourself, you know, by that regard. So it's highly focused and secure. And lastly, 5 is add a new product, which is that blue button that you see on the top. So, Lynn, I guess we're going to be doing this now in real time, right?
Okay, yeah. So for the first thing we need to do is region. So Tony, which regions will you be employing? Will it be just US?
Currently, yes.
Okay. Do you have any ideas to move into other regions potentially?
Yes.
Which other regions would you like to add at this point?
I would say Europe. Yeah, that would be my first place, Europe.
Okay. And then the work stream. Now, this could be, when it's pharmaceuticals, there are specific work streams, but this could be, so consultants, your consulting team.
Yes.
It would be one work stream, because then you can give them access to anything specific. You might have an admin team that you want them to see something else specific.
Yes.
What other work streams do you think you might need?
Maybe marketing?
Course leaders and marketing. Yes.
Oops.
Workshop course leaders. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Course leaders.
Marketing and also registration team.
Would that be different from your admin team?
No, it would be a part of the marketing team, actually. Registration, like actually, you know what? I'm not sure.
That's okay. So we can just, for the moment, we could maybe leave it at this, and you can always, you know, edit it later on, Tony.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then roles. So you add a new role. So your role would be a little bit like your work streams, but you would have team leaders.
Yes.
Okay. Did somebody want to say something?
I think somebody might have sneezed.
Oh, okay. Bless you. Okay.
Yeah. Other role could be maybe project manager.
Absolutely.
And then a consultant.
Yeah, and also marketing manager.
Oops, helps if you put the C in the front. Steve always laughs at me because I don't type very well. What did you say, Tony? Sorry?
Marketing manager or
Okay.
CMO. CFO, we'll need that too.
Yep, okay. And then the FO. Will there be a admin that you would like as a?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I would call him chief of staff because I'm gonna need
Okay.
more than one. More than one.
And this is important when we get to giving them permissions to
Yes.
see this.
One more team, content creation team.
Oops. Where did that go? Sorry, I must have caught the button. So these are the roles of the people that are going to have access to this.
Mhm.
Now, when we get to your chief of staff,
Mhm.
we can give them roles, okay?
Mhm.
So you've just put all these different roles in here,
Mhm.
and your chief of staff is likely to have access to absolutely everything.
Yeah.
They can add, they can update, they can delete, they can view.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've just clicked all the boxes.
Good.
Okay, so then that saves automatically. And then let's look at a different work stream. Say your consultants may only have access to view certain things. So you would go through and add these in as you go along. Okay. And then maybe your CFO could add things. We're just using this as an example, and we can obviously realign it, Tony, specifically. Yes. Okay. But it just shows the utility. So you've got all your roles in there, and then we actually have to start adding users. So you're already in there, but say we have an admin.
Cornell.
Cornell, yep. Yeah.
And his name. Actually, we need to put in emails and things, so we won't do that live because it might be confidential unless you particularly want us to, Tony.
No, I go with confidential. That's fine.
Right. What we can put in is I'll put myself in.
Okay.
Because then it doesn't matter if anybody sees it, and we can change it when we're not live. And we can show you the communication. Okay. And just so you know, when we put in the mobile number, it's created a little bit of a problem here, look, because I've already got a mobile number in there. We'll have to adjust that. It's just trying to stop people running in again and again.
Lynn, you could put a dummy number like
11000,
something like that.
Okay. Okay, we'll see how that.
Maybe it's the flag.
Oh yeah. We'll just use the strongest word for now. And then I'm in the US region, and assign me a role as I'm going to be project manager, just for now. Again, we can take this out. No spaces. Oops. Doesn't seem to want to like it. It's possibly because I've already logged in. We'll come back to that, unfortunately. I don't want to put something live in for Tony's benefit. Unless we put your, no, we put yours in. Okay, so now we want to set up the product. Now the product can be what you want it to be in terms of it.
This would be Relationship Mastery Institute.
Okay. We're going to put the start date from today and the finish date into the future. You can go as far into the future as you want. We'll put you for the next 20 years for now.
Okay, we can handle that.
We can change it at a later date. Okay, we're going to select the region. I'm going to select the work stream.
You could
this is
select all, probably.
Sorry?
Select all.
Yes. Okay. And then we create. So that's your Relationship Management Institute. So that's you all set up. Now we then need to add a goal. What was your first goal that we worked through, Tony?
Yeah, it was to big picture is to create ourselves as a education / matchmaking goal organization, where we're going to help people connect with each other, but also educate them. So you got educated people getting into relations with each other.
Okay. Right. You can add a description here. What was that you were saying? We want to help.
We want to help people connect with, we want educated people to connect with other educated people around relationships.
to educate.
Yeah, because stupid people getting a relation with stupid people don't work.
Connect.
Tony, you can't fix stupid.
That is true. Yeah, I got to
Not
meet.
even with education, my friend.
Well, if they come here, okay, but if they're not ready, then sorry.
So we want to help people, educate people to help them to connect with like-minded people.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it. Yes.
And also let's try to just be like positive and use affirmative language, if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to assign it to that. Again, it's the start date is today. We've said the finish date is 32. You can change these as you go along. And are we started yet, or are we not started? I think we're started, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then we'll relate this. You can add, we'll add one work stream at the moment. You can actually add more. You can actually add files. So if Tony had a specific presentation that he wanted to add, you could actually upload it here. But let's continue. So we've got our first goal, and we're going to call it goal 1, and you'll see why later. Right, then, as you can see, the tool prompts you to go to the next level. So what was your objective for the goal number 1?
It's a marketing branding goal objective, which is to build recognition for the need for relationship coaching workshops and education. The need for relationship education. Say it like that.
Yeah. Education.
People still think that this is, Pollyanna, Alice in Wonderland. Nope, sorry.
Okay. And would you like to add a description?
Lynn, I think just for expediency, maybe you could just copy the title and the description, just so that we can, sort of get to the next step so people can kind of see the full picture.
I can't copy and paste without sharing screens.
No, I mean copy from the title.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay. Right. Okay. And then we started. Right. So you see how we're building up. We've got a goal, we've got an objective, and then it asks you if you want to add a strategy.
Yes, effective marketing communication, branding and marketing. Want the company to go viral.
Okay. Right. You can do a dependency, but we won't for the moment. Because we're trying to be cognizant of people's time. Oh, I see. Yeah. Wow, how time flies when you're enjoying yourself. Okay, I'll do this as quickly as I possibly can. And then it asks you to add a tactic. What was one of the tactics you wanted to employ?
Webinars and social media.
And hopefully that answers the question about where you start putting these things in when you start getting down to those sort of details. Yeah. This is where the rubber hits the road. We really need to know what you want to do. Sorry, Tony.
Yes. Yeah, you're asking me a question? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just explaining how we've got there. And then this is really down to the key activity. So what was your key activity?
Two, list building and workshop events.
We might separate those out
Yes.
so that you've got 2 key activities.
Yeah.
So list building,
Mhm.
and then
Have a workshop December 3rd and 4th coming up.
we'll put that first then, just for the work, so that people can see it coming up.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And we'll continue with that. Okay, so can everybody see that we've got the goal, the objective, the strategy, the tactic, and then the key activity? And what you would do, you could put as many objectives as you wanted to, as many strategies. You can just go in and add the plus button and it'll give you another objective, and then add the strategy and the key activity. But can you see how it ladders up to the original goal? Anything you are doing underneath here has to relate to achieving that overall goal.
Yeah, and just to add to it now, to have some fun with this, because when you add stuff in the tool, you can then play with the tool. And what do I mean by that? So if you notice there are those buttons near the blue add new goal button, so you can actually visualize the data by looking at it in the Kanban chart, the dashboard, which you'll see momentarily, as well as the Gantt chart. So this is the Kanban chart. So this is what the tool generates automatically. You don't have to do this, because in Trello, for example, you gotta like enter things manually and then drag the status from one card to the next. Here, the tool does it automatically. Yes, you can drag statuses here too, but the point is everything is dynamic, everything updates in real time. As you can see, this is the Gantt chart that the tool generates automatically, and you could view this in a week view, month view, or day view if you wanted to go that granular. So it allows for various levels of granularity, or you could just back up, zoom out, and do big picture. And how this is helpful is you could take a screenshot of this, or you could click the download button and it downloads as a PNG file, and you could add this to your deck if you needed to show this to your investors, your stakeholders, your angels, your VCs, your consultants, or whoever, or your team. And you could do this, not just the Gantt chart, you could do the Kanban chart, you could even do the dashboard. And we'll go to the dashboard momentarily. Lynn, can you click the dashboard? Yeah, so currently the dashboard is blank, which is ideal because now we'll show you how you can customize it. So you can basically select whatever you want the dashboard to select for you. And keep in mind that every user that logs into the tool will have the ability to customize their dashboard. As an admin, of course, you can define what each user sees, but the user also has some ability to customize their dashboard so that they can then see all the tasks that they must do so that nothing falls through the cracks and that they can keep up with all of their deliverables. So right now, what Lynn is doing is adding, we haven't added too much data into this, so there isn't a lot to play with at the moment, but we can add a variety of action items in the dashboard such that when you log into the dashboard will then show you all of those highlighted action items, what the status of that is. So for example, you'll see what is completed, what is not completed, what is delayed, like a quick snapshot of all these things on the dashboard. And this is something that allows for you to stay on track as far as achieving all of your goals or all your objectives, your tactics, your key activities, etc.
Okay, we're actually coming close to the end of the webinar, Rajiv. So I'm going to go back to the slides. I don't know whether you want to, thank you, Tony, for participating in that, by the way.
Yeah, and so as far as, like I said, what we're looking to do is we want to have this ongoing dialogue with our community, namely you and people like you. So if you would like to be on center stage next month, please let us know. We would love to go through this entire process with you of helping you structure your overall strategy. And I think this process can be helpful as far as helping with either affirming a specific strategy, challenging a certain strategy, and so as to arrive at maybe a slightly better, slightly improved strategy. Because I think that dialogue in this process helps to really ask those sometimes difficult questions, and it could be super helpful. And not only that, you can obviously visualize your strategy in the tool and start adding all your entire team members to the tool and start getting a control of everything that needs to get done.
And just so you know, with Tony, we actually have spent a while going through his strategy, and all we were doing here was showing you how it can be put into the tool. But we would do that live with you, and maybe, if you want to be featured on the webinar, we would work through with you beforehand and pull the important bits out of your head, so that when we get to the actual demonstration, it's very quick, and it's and less time consuming for you as well, because you've got it all straight then.
I also need to acknowledge you two for how much work you put into pulling this stuff out of my mind. I have 30 years of my vision for the future, but I never was able to put it together in such a way that everybody around me was like, oh, I get it. And y'all have done that, even though it wasn't necessarily demonstrated fully here. The task, the projects, the depth and the specifics. Listen, you guys got to work with them. They're epic, I'm telling you. So I just want to say that. I'm complete.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so we'd like to open this up for any questions, comments, feedback. Not all at once.
It's a good platform. It's a good platform. It's a great way to stay organized.
Awesome. Yeah, Susan, go
It's a
ahead.
good offering. Yeah.
I have a question. So are you simply selling the software, or are you selling consulting services along with it?
Yeah, so to clarify, yes, the software is available. You can actually start using the software today. Like I said, we're offering a 30-day trial, which could be extended to allow for you a little bit more time to get comfortable with it. No credit card required, of course. So that's on the one side. And I think this is what Homi asked earlier as well. Yes, consulting is something that is offered as a separate service. I will say that part of this process of us working with you is to help you to experience what our consulting looks like. So the consulting that we'll be offering with you to kind of work with you to, get your strategy organized or improved, that part is complementary to a degree. And then once you've, as they say, you try the pudding, you like it, you might ask for another slice kind of thing, So work with us, that's complimentary. And if you like the experience of working with us, then you might want to continue working with us. No obligation, of course, but the benefit to you is that you'll get super organized, super structured, super focused on exactly the goals. And then you'll put everything, input it into the tool. Of course, we'll help you with that. And then you can add all your team, your supporters, your allies into the tool and start managing that entire process right from inside the tool. And the tool allows for you to DM your team members and everything. So it's quite interactive. It's super user-friendly. And like I said, no credit card required.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I think the idea of a 30-day free trial is a really smart idea.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're hoping, Susan, that you'll take us up on our offer to not just start using the tool, but also if you'd like help, either for next month or a future date to help you with your,
I'll do it.
Sure,
Who was
sure.
that, Frank?
That was Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, Albert's already asked us to help him as well, so.
Yeah. And I think Frederick.
Well, over the next couple, just let me know.
Sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Is this software proprietary, or is it free, or is it open source?
No, it's not open source, and it is proprietary, and it is free trial. So it's free to start for, like I said, 30 days, and that 30 days could extend for a little bit further. But after that, it is a monthly subscription, which we feel is very, very friendly. Everyone that has seen the pricing has been like, oh my God, you guys should be charging way more. Price is too low. That's the feedback we've been getting so far. So the price, I'm sure when you see the prices, it's what is it, $9.99 per user per month. So it's it's really affordable. And like I said, in the free trial, you can add as many users as you want. You're not capped by the tier that happens after the free trial ends. So you can definitely get the most out of it, see the tool in its full power, in its full juice, to truly visualize what is possible.
So I'm building a platform on free software, and this would probably be incompatible at some point. I'd be willing to take you up on the offer and see what we can learn from each other. But beyond that, there is a concern moving forward.
That's okay, Frank. We can chat offline.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for your feedback, and thank you for your interest. And I think, Frederick, you had DM'd me a question. Yes, this video will be available. And we are happy to share the video, make the video available to all of you for reference, as well as if you want to share it with any of your team members, your stakeholders, partners, etc. And like I said, Frederick, we'd be happy to work with you and your team separately from this to help you with this entire process that we went through with Tony. Like I said, the consulting is complimentary to a degree, of course. Obviously, we're not going to offer 5-10 hours of consulting for free. But the initial consulting is complimentary.
Rajiv, I like the directness that you've made and the granularity. The challenge is that since we're in the B2C space, the world is much less precise and is more amorphous than introducing a new pharma product or a new medical device. So particularly when we're going into an area doing something that no one's done before. So, but
let's
talk about that.
Yeah, let's definitely chat.
Well, yeah, because if you look at Tony, what Tony's presenting is something that's very different. That's why we were happy that Tony wanted to volunteer, because we originally designed this tool for pharma and life science, but we found such utility in other areas, and especially for small businesses that are starting up. This is why we wanted to offer this as in the webinar, because it doesn't matter what you're doing, it still has goals, objectives, strategy, tactics to achieve what you want to, where you want to go. A strategy is getting from here to here, and that is through goals, objectives, strategies, tactics, activities. So, Tony, did you want to say something, or are you leaving?
No, I gotta leave. I have a normal 12 o'clock Tuesday meeting. By the way, y'all don't know this, but I'm an astrologer, so I'm in astrology meetings at 12 noon, and I'm already 10 minutes late, so I gotta go. But I love this. Thank you so much for your gratitude and for listening, and I'll be back.
Thank you, Tony, for your participation. Rajiv, I'm supposed to be in another meeting as well, so